The Ravens versus the Chiefs was,
Mm.
I know the score was 17-10, but to be honest, it didn't feel like it was that close. I mean, what were your thoughts of the game?
My thoughts are this. They're summed up like this. The Baltimore Ravens failed to save us from a Taylor Swift Super Bowl. To sum it up, Lamar Jackson was very disappointing. He had that fumble early in the first half, and then that back-breaking INT in the fourth quarter. Why are you throwing that into triple coverage? It just seemed that Jackson couldn't handle the pressure, both from the Chiefs' kind of high blitz frequency scheme and the moment. I thought deep down in my heart, I wanted this narrative of Lamar Jackson underperforming in the playoffs to go away. And that just wasn't the case. Now, it's not all his fault. Zay Flowers, after taunting the corner,
the
fumbled
dude.
it on the half-yard line. He had a great game, but
that play hurt a lot.
That play hurt crazy. And then why on earth, if you are the best rush offense in the NFL, do you only run the ball 16 times? They only ran the ball collectively as a unit 16 times for 81 yards. They averaged 5 yards per carry on the ground, and they abandoned it. Whoever signed off on that offensive scheme, going away from what you're good at, is idiotic. So it's not all on Lamar. I know it's pretty easy to kind of say, oh, Lamar, terrible interception, had that fumble. At the end of the day, couldn't get it done. But that offensive play calling, where it was so pass heavy, Lamar was 20 for 37. Lamar's a good quarterback. He's not 30 for 39 like Patrick Mahomes. You got to play to your strong suit.
I think
all to your running backs, man. What the heck?
I think the biggest thing that deterred Baltimore from choosing to run the football was the fact that Kansas City, every time they had the ball, especially that first half, their first 3 possessions, they absolutely controlled everything that happened, right? They took the clock down. They had the ball control. They were converting on their third downs. They were converting first downs. Travis Kelce was looking really good. They even had one of those crazy plays when Mahomes escaped pressure, got hit, threw a wobbling ball, and Travis Kelce catches it. They just had some crazy stuff. I think Baltimore felt that pressure, and specifically Lamar Jackson going back to the pick. I mean, that's the 3rd time we've seen it in this postseason already. A quarterback throws a pick late in the game trying to make a play. I just think he was feeling it, that he had to do something, and he had to be the guy to make a play. And honestly, he really just needed to go and live another down. If we learned anything in this playoffs from these QB's late game performances, it's better to just live another down.
To fight another day. Yep, exactly.
You can't be Superman every play. You can't force it to happen all the time. Right? Not saying take away your instincts and not try to step up and win, but you got to pick and choose your moments.
I really think Baltimore had the chance to win this game, both with the Zay Flowers fumble, the forced triple coverage interception, and then even after that, they were able to come down and kick a field goal. So if even just one of those drives went their way, they were headed into overtime.
Most definitely. And I mean, looking at the Ravens kind of outlook in this offseason, they have a couple key guys who are free agents. They have Odell Beckham Jr., their guard, Kevin Zeitler, and their linebacker, Patrick McQueen, or not McQueen. We're not talking about Lightning McQueen here, but Patrick McQueen, the linebacker. Patrick Queen. Wow. I really like cars today, dude. Just on that cars thing. But anyways, so the biggest question I have for you, Odell Beckham Jr. this season was solid. He had about 500 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns. $15 million was his contract this season. He's a free agent. Should the Ravens bring back OBJ, or do you think they could use that money elsewhere or bring him back depending on what his contract is? What do you think they should do with him?
I personally wouldn't put it on top of my priority list if I'm Baltimore. He's a good receiver. You can get that type of production from somebody else, probably for cheaper, just because they don't have the name attached to it. Odell is a big game player, but he's definitely towards the end of his career. So I do not put that on top of my priority list. I would only sign him if it's a team-friendly deal, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm 100% on board with that. I will sign him if he's signing for a cheaper price, but if he's still demanding like a, these double figure contracts, I'm probably gonna say pass. I'm gonna re-sign Patrick Queen. Kevin Zeitler is really good too. I'm gonna look elsewhere for a wide receiver, like you said, and maybe look at improving that run defense, which was probably the biggest weakness of the team, maybe a little bit, but I definitely think I'm not giving him that big
No.
contract.
Well, to your point there, even though do they have their first? I mean, I don't think they've traded it away or anything, but even though they have a late first round pick, this draft is so deep at the wide receiver position that they could honestly probably replace him just with a pick. So I would not prioritize Odell at that kind of money. Again, team friendly deal for sure. But
Yeah, I mean, and a good way to look at it, I think Zay Flowers was the 22nd pick in last year's draft. I mean, obviously their pick won't be that high, but you can find guys. I mean, Rashid Rice, if they could get a player like that in the draft, I mean, the Chiefs got him in like the third round, maybe, a little bit late early round kind of pick. So you can definitely find guys and they aren't on that same type of contract. And, to be able to re-sign your really good players, you have to make sacrifices and choose what you really want.